Welcome, friends. Let us together rebuild this world so that we may live, laugh, and lore.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Not listening. I'm not listening.
Oh, that took.
Program loaded and ready.
Make it so.
Welcome to the
Live, Laugh, Lore podcast.
We're your host. I'm Tony.
And I'm Mark.
And man, we have a special guest today. The very first guest of the Live, Laugh, Lore podcast.
Yep.
The love of my life, Queen of all angels, at my eye.
Hello, everyone. So a bit about me. I'm married to Tony, and then Mark is my cousin through marriage.
Totally appreciate your time, Jenna, and being here. And Mark, yeah, first guest.
First guest, it's great. This is going to be a fun one. So all Tony and I know, it's Game of Thrones themed, and Jenna's going to give us some topics to discuss. We don't know. Tony and I have not seen these topics beforehand. Jenna came up with them on her own.
Yeah,
Yes.
the only thing we were told is one thing, and that'll be toward the end. But other than that,
Yeah.
we got nothing.
Yep.
Yeah. I've also been a huge Game of Thrones fan for a long time. And my credentials are, I would say I have an above average knowledge of Game of Thrones. I've read all the books, I've rewatched the show a lot of times, and I've watched most of the DVD commentary for it, so I was always that person. So yeah, my idea today is, I know the books, and a lot of people haven't known the books, so I wanted to talk about the books versus the movies. And the TV show changed a couple things, and they left out a couple of things. It's actually either really fun stories, or it really changes the characterization of them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Just as an overview, so there's 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. The first 5 are based on the first 5 books. So season 1 is 1 book, season 2 is book 2. Season 3 and 4 are 1 book, which is kind of impressive because season 3 is the one with the red wedding and the purple wedding, and Brandon Rick also is going to be spoilers, duh. But so that's actually my favorite book of the whole series is the 3rd book, and that's over 2 seasons. And then season 5 is 2 of the books in 1 season.
Wow.
Yep.
It's kind of an interesting way to do it, but most of the time it's because honestly that book was kind of boring. Both those books were really boring.
So what you're telling me, though, is that book 5 in Game of Thrones is a boring setup book, much like I don't know.
Order of the Phoenix?
Or the Phoenix, maybe? Perhaps we have, Mark indicates, or the Ancient Tomes in the corner, but yeah, that's kind of funny that you bring that up. And it's also funny, too, that you bring up the fact that they literally made that 1 book into 2 seasons. Is it just because you feel like there are so many big events happening, they wanted to kind of pepper it across the 2 seasons? Or do you feel like, are they just trying to milk out as much kind of...
So, season 2 ends with, the Blackwater. But, the 3rd one has the Red Wedding. It has Tyrion being Hand of the King. It's Tyrion's whole trial and things with... The Hand of the King was all the 2nd season.
Yep.
Yeah. It also covers the entire Wildling arc of, Jon finding Ygritte and then going back towards the wall, and then the attack of the wildlings on the wall. That's all 1 book. It's a good book.
Wow.
A lot of stuff happens. And how these books work is they're written in POVs. So for each chapter is a different person that it's following. So what's interesting about the books is it completely shows you, what's that terminology? It's like unreliable narrators. Because a lot of the only things that you see that happened, for example, in King's Landing is through Sansa and Tyrion's perspective. And Ned's perspective, too. But obviously, he goes after season 1. So a lot of what you see is through a person like Sansa's eyes. And that's not always an accurate depiction of what's actually happening. So
Yeah, so there's no, omnipresent, omniscient
Which
narrator.
is kind of what the show is.
And throughout the books, they add on more POVs. Eventually Cersei gets her own POV in, I think, the 4th book, something like that. But then the season where they split up the books into... There's 2 books in 1 season. It's actually because those books take place over the same period, front to back, but just different POVs. So it's the same timeline, but in 2 different books, if that makes sense. So, the first chapter of the 1st book of the 4th book happens the same time as the first chapter of the 5th book.
Speaking of POVs, it's really kind of interesting, too, because we were actually watching this version of... Not the version, but we were watching the scene with, Reek, Theon. And Jenna told me that was a super pivotal part of the book where it was Theon's perspective, but then it turns into Reek's perspective.
Yeah, the chapter title is no longer Theon, it was Reek.
Yeah, isn't
Wow.
that wild?
Well, that is pretty wild. And they do a pretty good job in the show showing how broken he becomes when he
Yeah.
turns into Reek.
He literally says, kill me, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not going to kill
The scene where he willingly goes back into his cage, that is like...
oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Or during the shaving scene, and he takes it out, and he's like showing, oh my gosh, what's his name? I can't even remember. The guy who tortures him.
He's also Snow.
Mm-hmm.
His last name, Ramsay Snow. Yeah.
Ramsay. Yeah.
Then he becomes
becomes
Ramsay Bolton. Yeah.
Yep. So Ramsay, when he brings his father in, and he's like showing how much Theon has, fallen from grace into Reek, he's like shaving, and that scene's just wild to see like that, because he's literally holding a knife to Ramsay's throat, and he just keeps answering the questions like he would normally do. But sorry, Jen, I interrupted about the.
I was also say like in the depictions of torture in the show is actually much more kinder than what it is in the books. Like in the books, he's like horribly disfigured. He's missing fingers, and he actually was named Reek. Used to be like a late servant, like a dead servant of Ramsay. So it even has a little bit more background.
It wasn't
for
like
that.
doing the smell of
Yeah.
him. Because that was
But-
what it was in the show. He
Yeah.
comes by.
And he's
Hey,
just-
first one. We talked about it. First difference, right?
Yeah, there it is.
Reek in the show was just him coming by. He's like, Reek. Oh,
Well, that's
yeah.
also part of it too, because they did really smell. But it's
Oh.
I do want to throw a shout out to like other books with famous POVs, because I know these two aren't fans of it, but people who may be listening may be fans of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. It also has a split POV with the Tower of Dawn. Listen, these two guys don't know, but I know most women out there have
Mark-
read this series.
Mark and I, this is an audio only. Mark and I both shrugged at that
Yeah,
point.
it is, yeah,
I
we have
lost
no
it.
idea.
Yeah.
But it's a very similar split POV like that.
But it's kind of interesting because, like, you could argue Harry Potter is in the POV of Harry Potter, but there's also an omniscient, like, you know what I mean? There's an omnipresent, omniscient narrator in the background as well.
Yeah.
So you get Harry's internal thoughts, but you get no one else's. Sometimes Voldemort, technically, when you want to get really spicy.
Well, you
and
also
Nagini
get
and
like
stuff.
at the beginning of books, sometimes it gives you other POVs. Like for the 6th book, you see Severus Snape and Narcissa
That's true in the
making
in
the
the intro.
vows. In the 4th one, you see. I guess that's through Voldemort's eyes.
the
though.
Gaffer,
The gardener.
Gardner. Gaffer's in Lord of the Rings.
We're-
But
see?
still Gardner.
We're-
Still Gardner.
yeah, still Gardner.
Yeah.
We're mixing our lores up, though.
Yeah.
So there are exceptions. And part of this kind of slides into the first thing I want to talk about with the major difference between the books and the movies is that a lot of the characters were aged up much more in the shows than they were the books. So, for example,
I did hear that.
Like main characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Like Arya
Which
was
is
supposed to be
wild.
significantly younger, right?
Arya is 9
Yeah, wow.
when she starts the books.
Yeah.
Do you know what the actress was when she started? Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I
but
feel
you
like she
gotta
was
guess.
10 or 11.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
okay.
just remembering from commentary, though.
Well, it's also, I think, like, so in the first season, I think the kids are pretty well lined up with the age, but as
No.
the actors growed up, right?
Well, not even that. So, like, Robb Stark, you think he's pretty old. He's like 14 in the books.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sansa Stark, who...
Wait, when he's doing all of his war campaigns, he's 14?
So, the books do
King in the North?
a good thing of progressing with time. So, time does...
Oh, it
Their time
hauls.
is a little bit more progressive. So, by the time that he's king, I think he's closer to like 16, 17.
But still,
But when it
still
starts,
young.
it's 14.
Yeah.
Another thing, like Sansa, we were talking about, like her POV is very unreliable. It's because she's 11. Like, are you going to trust an 11-year-old's narration of a political atmosphere of King's Landing?
Yeah,
Or,
like experiencing events.
yeah, like Sansa gets a little flack because she's like, oh, my prince like has a very fairy tale idea of the
lovey-dovey.
world, but
Yeah.
she's 11.
Oh, man, even when she's probably explaining... Dude, why am I not remembering any names? Joffrey. When she's explaining Joffrey, she's probably, like, in the beginning, like, super... lovey-dovey, right? And then does it ever turn in the book, like when he starts kind of doing bad things to her, like kind of like torturing her a bit, like showing her dad's head, or like do you kind of see that like change? Like over the books, do you see her kind of becoming more jaded at the world?
Yeah, I mean I think you see that in this show too. I'm always a big Sansa fan. A lot of people don't like Sansa. I like Sansa, but the very big theme, especially like in the 3rd book, is like a young child experiencing a horrific world while you're very naive, because it's really just story after story of people taking advantage of her, and like she knows not to trust people, but she also has no idea how to make allies, things like that.
Yeah.
So age is a big thing.
Well, it's tough, too, because the show is pretty dark, and as you're saying, the books were even darker. There's only so much you can do to children actors on primetime
I know.
So it was
and
probably
even they do some questionable stuff.
Yeah,
you know
so
what
it's
I
probably
mean?
strategic that they aged them up a little bit.
Do you have a guess for how old Daenerys is supposed to be?
Probably stupid young.
13 is how old she is when she marries Khal Drogo.
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah.
How old is Jon Snow in the books?
I think is he the same age as Rob? He's pretty
He's
close
like
to
a
Rob
year
age.
young, year one, because it's like it goes Rob, John,
Yeah,
and then Theon.
Because I think Rob was born before he left for the war,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he comes back with Jon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's number 2. Yeah, right. Unless he's older than Rob.
No, because
he wasn't.
They have Rob, and
Okay.
then he goes out.
Because
and
either way,
battles.
he was illegitimate, so that's why Rob was the first king in the North.
Yeah.
Because he was the heir. He was officially,
But also, he was firstborn no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, because also John even talks about, he's like, I always looked up to Rob. He was my older brother.
Yeah.
You know, because remember when he's talking with Aemon?
Yes.
Maester Aemon? He's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm not out there fighting the war with him, right? He hears all this craziness that was going on with Rob's armies, and he's talking about how he was always looked up to him. Everything, he's better than him at, like riding horses, getting girls, doing everything.
Yeah.
And so that's like a very older brother, younger brother esque
Yeah.
relationship. Or I'm completely wrong.
No, I think that's definitely true.
Okay.
Fun enough fact, so when Rob was, right before the Red Wedding, when he thought Brandon and Rickon were dead, and he hadn't heard anything from his sisters, he actually names Jon as his heir before he dies
That's cool.
in the books. Which
So
gives
is
you
he-
so much hope as a reader, and then it's just
So you
ripped away.
Well, you say at the Red Wedding because wasn't his wife in the show? His wife was pregnant. Was he not married in the books?
So, actually, that was going to be one of the topics that I brought up today, because I think this is
We're jumping
a
ahead.
very-
Mark, let's go. Dude, by the way, once again, we did not plan
No.
this. We don't know anything. We were just naturally
And-
hitting these landmines.
And I want to say I've seen all the show, all the episodes, but I've never read the books. I didn't even know. I knew there was multiple books, but I couldn't tell you how many, and I only knew the first book name, A Song of Ice and Fire.
I was about to say, that's the only thing I know.
Outside of that, I knew nothing about the books.
I'm the
Sorry.
same way.
Yeah.
I've only seen the shows. I've just heard Jenna drop lore bombs every once in a while. Actually, one of the first trips we ever took was when she was an intern out in Seattle, and I went to go visit her. I've never seen Game of Thrones at this point, and that's because I was in college. You know, we were both in college, and we're like, I don't really want to pay for HBO Max. It doesn't seem that crazy of a show. We were taking hikes for like 2 or 3 hours, and in between those hikes, Jenna was telling me all about, yeah, so there's this guy named Rob, right? And then she would go through the whole lore, and I got hooked. And I watched the first ever Game of Thrones episode of my life was with Jenna in Seattle, episode 1.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a converter. I'm a converter to the show, I will say.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna mention about that whole that scene?
Yeah, so Rob is never a POV in the books. Pretty much all of Rob's story gets characterized through Catelyn Stark. So this happens off book pretty much, and you kind of just hear what happens through other characters. But essentially, I think it's a much more interesting take on his character because Rob is suffering through a loss. He's hurt in battle. He's hanging out in some lord's castle. He just found out that he believes Brandon and Rickon are dead. He believes like Theon actually killed him. So he's grief. He's like hurt. He's in this lord's castle, and this castle has a very mothering mother trying to make up a good match for her daughter. So this girl named Jane Westerling is pressured by her mother to help heal Rob while he's recovering at this castle. And so this girl's she is a highborn, she's from a very old family, but she wasn't a good enough match for a knight, to tell you her social standing. And so
like
then...
the family's standing relative to what like society deemed?
Yes.
Okay.
So like a king versus a girl who couldn't even marry a knight.
So she's like highborn, but that's like 5 guys relative to like McDonald's. Yeah, or like 5 guys relative to like a nice restaurant. Like it's nicer than, most, but you're not.
Right.
She's a minor house. That's what.
Yeah, minor league.
But so while Rob is recovering through the grief and the injuries of battle, they sleep together. And the next morning, to protect her honor, Rob hastily marries her.
Also, it's not even like in the show where it's like this whole like Taylor Swift love
Completely
story.
And I think it's such an interesting thing because, honor is what killed his father. by trying to do the right thing as opposed to the thing will save him. And, you know, the choices that he made that eventually killed him was
Honor.
Yeah.
Trying to, like, save this.
Like father, like son, though.
Dang. Apples does not fall far.
And so they get hastily married. People are not happy about it in his court at all, obviously, but he felt like it was the right thing to do. And when they go down to the Red Wedding, which they didn't know was the Red Wedding, they were just going to a wedding for the same reason they were in the movies, the wife actually stays behind because it was thought that it would be an insult to bring his wife to meet the Freys. Which is understandable.
But is she pregnant at this point?
So
they just slept together.
Her mother, so they were trying for a baby. Her mother was slipping her a concoction that was supposed to help with fertility, but it was actually preventing her from being pregnant.
Oh.
She was never.
That's not in the show.
She was never pregnant in the books, and after the Red Wedding happens, everybody's dead. She actually has to be monitored for the next 2 years to make sure she doesn't have a child.
Did they not know 9 months?
Wow.
Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why the 2
Well,
years?
it was like a full imprisonment for a time for just she couldn't move, but especially like the first 9 months, she was heavily watched and couldn't go anywhere.
Just to make sure.
Pregnant.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. Sorry, when you said 2 years, I'm like, unless that's some weird magic that George R. R. Martin just added in the human's gestation period.
Yeah.
2 years.
I wouldn't put it past George R. R. Martin.
Yeah. You gotta suffer more.
Yes.
You know? But
yeah, she was just a plain Jane.
wow, I did not know any of that. So, relating that back, I honestly like the way the show did it.
I did too.
I mean that's pretty solid. I mean, it puts Rob in such a better light, and I guess the book's version is such more adjacent to like a Ned Stark, like he's doing it out of honor. Where in the movies in the show, he's almost dishonoring because he's going, "I'm actively choosing love, not this moment of passion as 17-year-old experiences. No, I'm generally choosing her for love, going against my word and moving forward." Like that's a complete different story or character motivation than is in the book, I would think.
Yeah.
It's almost more gut-wrenching in the show because he did it for good reasons. It makes him seem less deserving in the show than it does the books.
Well, it makes the Red Wedding, I'm sure it was intense in the books, but the way they did the Red Wedding in the show was just
Horrific.
Yeah, incredibly horrific, but it's probably one of the most memorable episodes.
Yeah,
of the whole series. Yeah.
Yeah. I read that scene before I watched it in the show, and it was horrific, and it was all under Catelyn's point of view, and nobody's ever died within their own POV. Ned Stark died within Arya's POV, stuff like that. So when I was reading it from Catelyn, I'm like, oh, clearly Catelyn's not going to die because it's her POV, and it ends with her slow being knocked off.
Wow.
Dang, that's crazy. And it was probably even more horrific because it's a mother seeing her son die.
Yeah.
And who
right
forgets that
she
scream, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Rob, that was crazy.
Don't the Freys take someone prisoner at the Red Wedding? They kill everyone but one and they take a prisoner?
Edmund Tully.
That's right. Yeah, it was a Tully. I knew it was a Tully. Okay. Because he was technically Lord of the Riverlands, and with him in captivity...
And he's supposed to marry.
Correct. And
so the whole wedding is actually his wedding.
Yeah, and so now Walder Frey is acting as Lord of the River Run and everything.
And Catelyn Stark's uncle? Brother? Uncle.
Yeah,
Blackfish. Yeah, he dips, which is his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, Edmund Tully. Dang.
Wait, so Blackfish
is
was
uncle to Catelyn.
Correct. And Edmund is Blackfish's son? Yeah, so he's...
grandson?
So he is...
Isn't it her brother?
So Edmund...
Wait, Edmund's not her brother?
It's either cousin, brother... If it's Blackfish's son, then it's her cousin.
It would be cousin, yeah. We're consulting the interconnected webs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a brother.
It's her brother?
Mm-hmm. Blackfish
is her uncle.
Is their uncle.
Oh,
Blackfish is the second son.
And then what about her sister that's in...
It's her sister. So it's Edmund, Lisa, and Catelyn.
Oh, okay.
But in the Game of Thrones, it's male preferential.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So because Catelyn's father was Lord of Riverrun, which then would fall to his son, Edmund.
Yes, correct. Now, do you guys want to hear something interesting about Catelyn in the books?
Yeah, no, 100%.
She doesn't die.
What?
She definitely dies in the show.
So what happens is Catelyn's throat gets slit. She gets thrown into a river, And after a series of events, the Brotherhood without banners finds her body and tries to resurrect her. And I think it's in season 2 or 3, if you've watched the show, Beric Dondarrion is the one who resurrects Thoros of Myr after the Hound kills him in a trial by combat. Arya Stark is with him at this point. So this guy is known for resurrecting the dead, and his last resurrection that he performs is on Catelyn Stark. And when he resurrects her, she's now known as Lady Stoneheart. And she's a totally different character. And she doesn't have any of the compassion that she had as a human. Her only purpose in life is revenge on those who killed her son.
But does she have like memories and everything, or is she like an entity?
It's not really described very well in the books, but she appears very cold. Her throat is slit, so it's very hard for her to understand, for people to understand what she's saying. Her goal is just revenge. That's her one motive throughout life, is just revenge on those that she sees fit.
Dude, that's wild. So also, she was dead for a long time.
Yeah, she's not. It's not a clean resurrection like it was Thoros, because it didn't happen quickly.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. That might be another reason why, like, she was just like comatose or whatever for so long that her brain, But she has so much of a drive to her core of her being that she's like, revenge. This is it.
And really, she doesn't impact the story that much until she comes upon Brienne and Podrick. Everybody loves Podrick.
Oh yeah, Pod
is great. So at this point in the books, Brienne was challenged by Jaime to go and find Sansa Stark.
Mm-hmm. After she gets her, oh my gosh! By the way,
I thought she was supposed to find Arya.
Well,
she is.
Oh yeah.
She's supposed to be finding the daughters.
We're currently rewatching Game of Thrones, and we actually just crossed a scene where Jaime, is tasking Brienne to go find him, because basically Cersei makes this whole ultimatum saying like, if I asked you to kill those daughters, would you kill them? Like, against your word to Catelyn Stark. So that's when he's like, okay, I'm a crappy human. I need to give this to someone else who's more honorable. I'll give it to Brienne. Then he gives her the most coolest freaking armor this side of the Mississippi. Honestly, one of my favorite looking armors in the entire Game of Thrones is Brienne's armor. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to mention that because it just happened.
Brienne the Beautiful.
I mean, you're not describing one of the best characters, Podrick. Podrick, who was Tyrion's squire, poured a bunch of wine, saved his life at the Battle of Blackwater. So Brienne and Podrick come up to Lady Stoneheart, and Lady Stoneheart finds Brienne with a sword that the Lannisters gave her. They find her with a letter from King Tommen saying she's doing his good work. So when Brienne tells her, oh no, I'm still trying to live through the oath, I'm trying to find your daughters, Stoneheart doesn't believe her at all, and actually starts to hang Podrick and starts to hang Brienne, because it was essentially I'll make you a deal. It'll either be the noose or you kill Jaime Lannister.
Is she that strong? That's what I don't understand.
Brienne of Tarth?
No, Catelyn.
Well, she has the Band of Brothers. At this point, she's now leading the Band of Brothers.
She's basically
I didn't realize
Rob's
that.
Dead, right?
I thought
she's not queen, but she is leading the Band of Brothers, which eventually just becomes, a group of outlaws at this point.
Gotcha. I thought she gained some crazy cool power, and it was just her. And I'm like, how is she hanging two people?
She's just very respected and very influential.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Not this Lady Stoneheart, because she is a ghost over her former self. So the only power she has is through this Brotherhood without banners. So the fate of Podrick in the book is actually unknown.
What?
Oh. But I like Podrick.
I love Podrick, yeah.
His last scene was at the noose.
Dude.
True. Who's POV?
Brienne's.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So he's probably dead.
I think if he was dead, he would have been shown dead in the books, to be honest.
Yeah.
But...
Well, he's still writing the last book, right? George R.R. Martin?
Yeah, no way. That's the end of the... obviously, if you guys don't know, the books stop after book 5, and there's still a whole lot of story left that's never actually discussed.
But then they finished the TV show, and then he got lazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's lazy. I think he just got to a point where no matter what he does, he's like... It's like a lose-lose scenario, you know what I mean? No matter what he does.
I don't know. A lot of people were disappointed with the last season, so maybe he could...
Oh, I agree, but...
It's been like 10 years I believe.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
When I was reading the book, I was still under hope that it would come out soon, because I think the last book was only like maybe 4 years out. So it was still a possibility, but I've given up all hope at this point, which is kind of disappointing because it is a lot of work to get through those books to get any resolution.
I've heard theories that it's already done, and it will be released once he dies. That's theories I've heard.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. They did say they got his notes from him for the last series, though, but still. Yeah, we don't have to focus on that last season, but no, that's super interesting. I had no idea anything. Like, I didn't realize Podrick had such an odd ending in the book, or lack of ending in the book. I didn't realize Catelyn was still alive. Is there any other ones? Because I'm like genuinely. Do you got anything else in the holster? Not like odd endings, but like differences in the book and the movie or TV show. Because this is insane. I've
got one more topic, and I think that this one I always like to bring up because I think that the way that the show changed it ruined some characterizations, very similar to Robb Stark.
I know what you're talking about. We talked about this.
I'm very passionate about this. So Lord Peter Baelish, my favorite character personally, Littlefinger.
Okay, this is going down a different route I was thinking.
Is in love with Sansa Stark. Is in love with her mother.
Right, okay, I thought it was
And
Catelyn.
yet for some reason in the show, he sells Sansa Stark to the Boltons to marry Ramsay. What actually happens in the book is they send Jane Poole. Jane Poole is somebody who is Sansa's best friend growing up in Winterfell. She's actually in the first season of Game of Thrones in the pilot episode. She's sitting next to Sansa during the Feast at the Front. So she actually is in the show. But he pawns Jane Poole as Arya Stark and convinces the Boltons that this is Arya Stark, so you're marrying the actual Arya Stark. Sansa's fate isn't really called out, but it makes much more sense from Littlefinger's perspective to not marry off somebody that he would eventually want to marry himself.
Yeah. It kind of puts him in a rough spot.
Yeah. Well, because he was in love with Catelyn forever, right? And they said that in the show.
Yep.
But she looked so much like Catelyn that he fell in love with her as well.
Really the Snape of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, Snape wasn't weird and didn't fall in love with children.
Yeah.
Because Harry was a dude.
And
maybe.
All right. Whoa. That's actually
Snape turned good at the end. Peter Baelish never was really good.
No.
He was always in it for himself.
Well, I think another thing too, bringing that up too, we actually see how this divides like Aunt Lysa, right? Where she like freaks out at Sansa being like, does he love you? Did he ever do anything to you? Does he love you more than me? And like he has,
because she loves him.
Huge freak out, yeah.
And he never loved her,
and she kills her husband
for him.
Yeah. That's why I was like,
but
whoa.
he married her because at the time it was the closest thing to Catelyn.
Yeah, and also she had land and wealth, and he was still
and then he becomes Lord Protector of the Vale.
Yep,
which was one of the moves in his Game of Thrones.
Yeah, take me back to the Eyrie. Yeah. Another big one that it was so funny that you bring that up, Jenna. I thought you were for sure 100% when you started that. You're like, oh, one of my biggest scenes I hate that they changed this character so much. It's so out of character. I thought for sure you can bring up the Jaime thing.
In the last season?
No. No, the Jaime thing when he comes back and it's Joffrey's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to talk in depth to that scene, but he does some questionable stuff to Cersei during that scene, and I thought for sure you'd bring that up because
I just think that's a complete mischaracterization, and
okay.
I mean that's in the. But Jaime's also like a complex dude. Like all these characters are. That's why I love Game of Thrones. They're very morally gray, very gray, but still somehow lovable characters.
I know we don't get to see it because he dies, but I like to believe that King Tommen would have, as he grew older, maybe realized the manipulation of his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she was trying to mold him, and I know Tywin was trying to mold him. But I like to believe that he would be somewhat of a good king as he got older. Yeah. Maybe Marjorie Tyrell would have steered him in the right direction.
No kid with a cat named Sir Pounce is going to be a cruel king.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And you know how the cruel king was saying, I'm going to kill Sir Pounce and serve his guts to you and feed him. That was literally what Joffrey said to him. So you already knew his trajectory.
Well, and Marjorie Tyrell, the Tyrells just wanted to be part of the royal family. They wanted wealth and power. They weren't necessarily evil, right?
No.
And
they
had their own motives, right?
They did some evil things to get to the means, but yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I would, and we already saw it, that Cersei and Marjorie did not like each other.
No. Because I think they're both fighting for the most influential part of Tommen.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then I think another thing, too, to kind of bring up that is the scene where Tywin is talking to Tommen at Joffrey's funeral, and he's just like, what makes you a good king? And he does this whole, I think it's one of my favorite scenes of all of Game of Thrones. I don't know why I love it so much. It's Tywin, advising Tommen, being like, what kind of king do you want to be? Strength? You can have all this strength, but not be wise enough to see something. And he's just kind of leading to this whole answer of, you would be a wise king. Well, how do you be a wise king? You listen to your counsel. You know what you know what you don't know. And then go advise people. So it's like his way of underpinning almost, of being like, hey, listen to me. But at the same time, too, it's just such a beautiful, interaction.
Well, yeah. And I think that scene is one of the reasons, if not the reason, he's like my favorite character in the show.
Tywin?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
Tywin's awesome. His voice alone puts him in the top 5 characters.
Yeah. I mean,
he voices
the influence, the power he has, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he is kind of evil, right? But he's he just demands respect. He's just good. You're right.
Good.
He's such a good character.
But you can argue an evil in what route? Like, honestly, if you look at him and like, if you generally isolate his stuff and you look at him, it's not necessarily evil. He's just like, I'm trying to protect my family at any cost.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring them to this future. So honestly, he's not doing other than his hatred a little bit for, oh my goodness, Tyrion. Thank you.
I was gonna say he did have his men.
Fool of a took.
His wife.
I might edit that out. So
then because we'd be explicit.
So I would fear that a little bit. I don't want to put explicit on our stuff yet, but we'll get there.
There's a lot of. I've been trying to hold back on certain terms.
Yeah. You gotta be a little careful. But you're correct. He does do some stuff that is questionable with Tyrion. But I think at the end of the day, though, I'm just saying the overall motives. He was just saying, I'm just protecting my family line. Let's move forward.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you bring that up because he does have a very complicated relationship, I think, with Tyrion.
Oh, 1,000%.
There's a little bit of respect there. There's a little bit of disgust there, and I think there's even a little bit of fear there, right? And it's just all into one. You know what I mean? What do you think, Jenna?
Yeah, he's just a good character. Do you think you'd put him on your small council?
Whoa. Are we
jumping into that? Are we jumping into that?
We can jump. Oh, by this is our one thing we did know. Jenna said, just come prepared. Have what you believe is your best small council. Now, very important operating term here. She just said best small council, and it didn't, I think we took it in different directions, right? How we define best. And also there's going to be interaction between these, people and stuff like that. But do you want to move to that, Jenna? Or do you have any other points before we move to the small council?
Move on.
All right, we'll jump in.
Dang. Okay, so who wants to go first? We all looked at each other.
I can go first.
Yeah, you go first.
All right,
Here's my strategy for this.
Ladies first, bring the guest in.
Okay, here's my strategy for this. I'm queen. I'm going to put people in my small council who are smart but will not kill me.
Okay.
Which is a very rare trait for people in Game of Thrones.
Sorry, more importantly, are you assuming independent roles or are you assuming dependency where they don't exist in a vacuum? Meaning if you have someone who's a Baratheon and someone who's a Targaryen and someone who's whatever, they might fight internally for their family's house. Or do you just say, I think this person is going to be the best person for this role regardless of any other thing?
I'm not in a vacuum.
Okay.
My answers are not in a vacuum.
Perfect. That's
my
what
first selection, probably controversial, but probably actually shouldn't be controversial, is Brandon Stark.
For what?
For my small council, Brandon Stark.
Oh, I know, but is there a specific role?
Oh, yeah, no. See, here's the thing. We were talking about this before the podcast. You don't pick somebody because they'd be good at a job. This is Game of Thrones. This is Westeros. You're picking somebody that you trust, and you're going to just put them somewhere. Tyrion was named Master of Coin. He knew nothing about coins, but Tyrion's going to kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I respect it. It's just funny because when Mark and I made our list, we made it for specific roles because we thought that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
So it's so funny because when we came in, we're like, oh, so yeah, this master, this master of ships. And Jenna was like, what are you talking about? I was like, one of the roles on the small council? I thought you set this up. She goes, oh, no, I'm not setting up specific roles. So sorry, you didn't go specific roles.
So I want Brandon Stark of Winterfell to do something. He can warg. He can see things.
He's Three-Eye Raven.
I don't think he'd be a good king, but I think he'd be a great person on the council.
Yeah. So two things. One, I think I don't know how much of a hot take that is because that's almost cheap, cheapo mode kind of thing.
Exactly. It's the obvious choice.
Yeah, you can just see, you know what I mean, the past.
You can do everything. Yeah.
You have perfect clarity. The only problem is that the only problem with Brandon is I think he's so disconnected. You even see it in the show. He's so disconnected that he's like, well, I'm just the Three-Eye Raven.
That's why I don't think he'd be a good king. But you could definitely get you knowledge.
Oh, for a second, and that's why he's not going to kill you. But
exactly.
I'm just saying he's
not going to engage in coups or anything because he just doesn't care.
Fun fact about Brandon: he is entirely missing from an entire season of Game of Thrones.
Really?
There's just one season of Game of Thrones where he's just not there.
Oh, wow. But he's there in the books, but he's just not
Yeah,
there.
he's a POV character.
Okay, next person.
Oh, I'm doing all of them? We're not going one by one?
Oh, well.
No, you're going to do all of them because you don't have specific roles assigned.
Yeah,
me,
Mark
me and
and
Tony
Fair
are going to
enough.
go back and forth on specific roles. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I also went with Tyrion.
Okay.
Tyrion's smart. He's not going to try to kill me. He will teach himself something.
You're doing
And it's
real
not enough-
season 8 right now.
It's
though.
not a much of a responsibility that, he couldn't handle it. My next one is
Oh, wait,
actu-
was like, the reason why I said you're doing real season 8 because that's literally.
You literally, yeah.
Yeah. You'll be handed the king. I don't want
the
to.
rest of them aren't, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. I was just making a joke. Okay.
My next pick, you guys can tell me if you also have these people. Davos. Sir
Oh,
Davos.
my gosh. Yes, I do.
I also have Davos. I also have Bran, but it's fine.
The obvious choice. If Stannis did anything right, it was Davos.
Oh, 100%.
My next pick for Small Council is Kevin Lannister.
I also have him.
Are you kidding
As
me?
an honor, actually, I have him as an honorable mention. He didn't quite make it on the council, but he is an honorable mention.
Dude, I'll be honest. I have absolutely no clue who Kevin Lannister is.
Younger brother of Tywin Lannister.
Yes, he was Master Ships, Master Coin for technically Tommen, but then Cersei was running the council, and he refused to serve unless Tommen was there, and asked him himself.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember that guy. Okay.
Where I was coming from is you need people with money on the council.
Correct. Yeah.
But if you put somebody like Tywin's just going to wipe the floor with you and manipulate. You need a second son type energy on that council. And Tyrion, second son energy. Kevin, second son energy. And
Gotcha.
he has much more higher morality baseline than Tywin does by far.
Yeah, for sure.
My next pick is, we've already talked about him, Brynden Tully, the Blackfish.
Honorable mention for me as well.
Dude,
didn't
get
quite
outta
make it on the
here.
council, but he is an honorable mention. Yeah.
Gosh.
I like how he treated Robb.
Yeah.
He told Robb what was up and what was down.
Yeah. No, he's good.
Wasn't afraid?
I like him a lot.
Well, the freaking Karstarks did that too. When he loses, he's captain of the Vanguard.
Oh yeah.
Keep going.
My next pick is Jorah Mormont.
Wow.
Not Jorah. The Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Jorah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From season 1 through season 4.
Dang.
If you need a
That's
City Watch
solid.
guy, he would be my City Watch guy.
Wow.
Or a
Oh.
Gold Cloak. He could do. He's a man built to lead.
Yeah,
He is, yeah.
Military. Well, I mean, lead in general, but yeah.
And you'll notice most of my people are people who are not to be bullied. I don't want. I thought about putting somebody like Sam on there, but somebody would wipe the floor with Sam well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
For sure.
My
Sam
list is
could
gonna
not.
be-
He could not handle the life in King's Landing. He's not politician. You know what I mean?
I want to argue so bad because my list, I have Sam on my list
Oh,
hard.
my goodness.
Yeah. We'll wait. I'll have my explanation. How about Mark? Mark, actually, how about you go?
You want me to go next?
And then I'll explain mine because honestly,
Okay.
I think yours and Jenna's coincides really well.
Yeah.
Mine is so left field. I think you guys are gonna make fun of me, but that's okay.
Okay. And then my final pick was just Maester Lewin.
Oh, sorry.
Simply because
you.
you need a Maester on your
Yeah.
council, and
Was-
he's the most.
Was he the one?
He's not going to
Winterfell?
overpower you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I thought
that
about
scene.
Aemon, but Aemon's a little bit too soft spoken. Also, having
Oh, yeah,
Targaryen
let's
in
watch it. Let's watch
having
it.
a Targaryen in your throne room, probably not the best move ever. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that's my
reason why-
small council.
The reason why I said let's watch it, I totally.
Yeah.
Every single one you're like, I was like, I would never put that on my console. I'm like, dude, they're like my first pick. I don't know.
Okay, so for mine, I named someone for all the roles, and I did look up all the roles of the small council, and I have someone for all of the roles because
Same.
it's just the way it is.
Nerd.
So how I did it is I just did the best person for the job. So I am thinking isolated. I'm not even worrying about backstabbing or family coups
Okay.
or anything like that.
Okay.
But what I did try to do is try to get someone from every region. Didn't quite get there, but that was what my thinking was, to try to have...
Geopolitics.
Yeah,
Jeez. All
correct. So the honorable mentions, we'll do that first. So Jenna said I had Kevin Lannister and Brynden Tully, but then I also had Jorah Mormont. Not Jorah,
right. Oh.
Jorah tried to kill his queen, his own queen.
Yeah, well, that was later on, you know.
No, that was
No,
season
early.
1.
Yeah, that was his first thing.
He tried to
was
poison
sent-
Daenerys.
Yeah, he
but,
was sent.
But
to-
then he realized the error in his ways and became the most loyal character in the whole show.
I feel like for Jorah to be,
He's also a slaver.
Yeah,
I feel like if you want Jorah to be loyal to you, you have to be hot. because that's pretty
Whoa,
much
what are you saying about Mark right now? Mark, hey, I would 100.
I don't think you're Jorah Mormont's type. I will say that,
That's
but I
probably
do.
true.
I mean, his entire motif is that he does everything he does because he's in love with her.
That's
No, Mark's got a little bit of blonde in that hair.
I'm
He
no
can grow it out.
mother of dragons, that's for sure.
I mean, don't sell yourself short, Mark. You got it.
Okay, so for actual small council, Hand of the King, Sir Davos Seaworthy.
Easy.
There's just no other
You
choice.
are a monster.
Really, there's no other choice.
I did the same thing.
Yeah,
Same exact thing.
You just can't. I mean, he is
I agree.
dedicated, loyal,
Slightly illiterate.
slightly illiterate. I was reading up on it, and there were some thoughts that he would not be respected because he's a lower lord. But I would just demand his respect, essentially.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you don't listen to him, then you're off the council, or I'll kill you, or I don't know. Grand Maester, Aemon Targaryen, baby. Oh,
Really?
absolutely. Castle Black, yeah.
Same one. We have the same two. Top two. I just, by the way, same exact way. Sorry, I should explain mine just on to repeat. Yes, I also did Sir Davos as my hand. More importantly, I really love the fact that no matter what happens, he will stand up for what he believes in. And he'll be like, hey, this is what's right. And he'll like kind of stop you in your tracks. He does that so often with the Red Woman and all this other different stuff, trying to get that through King's Head, or the wannabe king.
The Onion Knight.
Yeah, the Onion Knight. And so I also believe that, I just think he would just be a really solid guy to have around. I was in between having him be master of ship or hand, but I was like, no, I want him as my hand. He's just the coolest guy. And then the second one is I also did Aemon Targaryen. You need that wisdom there. You just need
What's the
that
thought
wisdom.
between putting him above Lewin, though?
Aemon was there for the fall of the Mad King. He knows the errors in the Targaryen ways, but he's not tainted by it, so he can see it coming and help advise against it.
Yeah, and actually,
Although he is blind.
it was
He
one
doesn't, need,
quote.
he doesn't need to visually see, he can hear.
Yeah. And it was one quote that really won it over for me. He's the guy who understands the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. So it seems a little bit nuanced, but so letter of the law, Castle Black, you may not lay with women. Letter. Spirit of the law, he literally goes, because that's when Jon Snow comes back and they're like, you lay with a wildling, and they want to kill him. And he's like, hey, if we killed every single one of our brothers that laid with a woman, the wall would be manned by headless men.
Yeah.
It's just like such a, I don't know why that quote just resonated with me, because it's like, yes, he respects the letter of the law, but at the same time, too, he's like pragmatic, looks at the situation and understands like the spirit of the law, right? Jenna, you gave me a look there. I don't know if you agree with that.
I don't want somebody in my small council that speaks me in riddles, okay? I need somebody to just tell me what's up.
Speak direct.
And Master Lewin also seems like he'd give better hugs and is just more of a comforting figure,
Yeah.
I don't need hugs as king.
I need hugs.
All right, Mark, who's your next one?
All right, Master of Coin, Olenna Tyrell.
Also killed her king.
Yeah, because they were fighting, though. She killed Joffrey, right? Joffrey deserved
Jenna?
to die.
So for
Joffrey
you,
deserved to die. I'm going to have an alliance with the Tyrell. She won't want to kill me.
What if you have a son that she hates?
well, the son's dead. It's fine.
I'm saying Mark has a son that Olenna does not like.
Oh.
Olenna's gonna
okay.
take him out.
Hey, I'm marrying Marjorie Tyrell. She's my queen. That's fine. Our relationship's sealed, and I'm going to raise my child to be better than Joffrey. So I don't see any issues with this plan.
Well, nature versus nurture. You
Yeah.
know, there's just But no, it was funny as Mark said that Jenna gave him a very, very, very aggressive look, because that is not number one, but number
But
two.
the Tyrells
Might as
have
well
money.
put Jamie up there. Just a Kingslayer court through and through is what you're picking, Mark.
Jamie's not on. But Olenna
Oh.
Tyrell has money,
Okay.
and her granddaughter is... All right.
Yes.
Enough
finish that
said,
point.
enough said.
Finish that point, Mark. No. That's the next one.
Master Laws. This may be a hot take, but I chose Stannis Baratheon.
I respect that.
He's all about his duty. He's all about his honor.
I feel like him surrounded by the right people
Yes.
is his best Stannis, and you never see him surrounded by the right people.
Correct.
Well, the only thing is, I think when he's going for kingship, I think that's when he sees his goal and gets blinded by it, because he's really the living embodiment of the ends justify the means.
Yep.
But if he's not going for the king's goal, I could see him,
Yeah.
settling down and being more of the man he needs to be.
Yeah.
He did also kill his brother and his daughter. So
Well, that's what I was saying. But that was when he was going for the kingship.
Yes.
That's why
Correct.
I wanted a caveat.
The Game
that.
of Thrones, when you're going for the kingship, brings out the worst in people.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah,
But
those
this is a
ends are-
docile small council, and they would actually just be really good at their jobs.
Yeah.
Regardless
And
if
we're
they want to
also-
kill me or not.
And also another big thing was, for Stannis, it was like he was very much a man of principles too. I think he would have been fine and not really gone after the kingship if Robert would have lived and there's no question of his son's heir.
Correct.
Or there's no question of the legacy, right? Yeah. I think that's what drove Stannis to really get there because now he's like, oh my gosh, I can be king.
Yeah.
And then that
and defend the honor of House Baratheon.
Exactly. And that spurs him up.
Yeah.
Now, granted, immediately he starts going against his house by killing his brother, but we don't have to go into that. But my point is that, bearing in mind, assuming that you are a true king and there's no funny business going on, I think you're probably set.
Yeah. Master of Whispers, Bran Stark. It's a little bit cheap, but really, I mean, he can figure out anything. Master of Ships, Euron Greyjoy.
Euron?
Wow.
Yes.
Not even Yara?
No, I don't need Yara. Euron was a great commander. I mean, he did lose, but I mean, he
allegedly.
Yeah. He commanded
he lost to like Jamie. That's why I said allegedly.
Yeah.
Like he didn't lose in a ship battle. He lost in just a.
Well, I mean, he unified the islands. He had the largest navy.
Killed
fleet,
the dragon.
I think he would be an awesome mastership. Now he is very, very bad man, but like I said, I think he'd be very good at commanding my naval fleet.
That is a very wild hot take, Mark. I would not trust that man anywhere near power.
I like
also,
what you said.
Didn't he
You're going
kill
off
his
resume.
brother, who was also a king?
My gosh. Yes, he did. He 100%
Like I said, I'm doing it based on pure ability,
So, Mark, never walk on a bridge between two rocks. Then you're money.
Then I'm good.
You're fine. That is so funny. Wow. Okay,
yeah.
Keep going. Yeah.
Jenna has not liked a single one of my answers. It's fine, though.
No, I liked a couple of them. I'm just expecting, like, the Mountain to be your next choice.
Not far off, because as Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, the Hound.
Ooh.
Oh, my gosh, Mark.
He's loyal, and he can command if he wants to. He's pretty lazy. But if given the right circumstances,
yeah.
Now, over Barristan Selmy?
He's too old.
Wow.
You need someone young and fit to be commander of the Kingsguard, I think. A young Barristan Selmy would be great, yeah. But you need someone fit and spry.
Mm.
The only fit and spry man in Westeros is the Hound, is it?
Well, he's spry.
He's fit.
He'd become more fit as the Kingsguard, I'm sure,
Yeah, he's yoked. He's good.
Drunk.
Yeah.
No, I mean, everybody at that.
He was betrayed, by the Lannister. He had a lot going on, all right?
You have some good reasoning. I'm not sure I fully believe it all, but
that's it. I think it would be a good council. So.
Oh, is that your whole council?
Yeah, that's all 7 positions.
I'm sure they'll
nice.
all be great attendees of your funeral.
That's
Mark.
All right, yeah. So
there'll be a big whodunit. Who killed me?
Yeah, it will be. Literally, it's a clue game you just made right there.
I'm gonna guess Clegane can get Clegane with a
100%
lampstick.
Olena's killing you first. I feel like.
Olena, really?
No, Euron. Excuse me, Euron.
Euron.
I even looked at you. I'm like,
Euron was the most dicey, but like I said, I think he'd be a great.
He doesn't have ships, so
you're on one bridge. You're gone. Okay, so I'll go through mine. So Hand King I already talked about with Sir Davos, the Onion Knight. He's like my favorite character in Game of Thrones. One of my favorite. I was a little biased here. I just a lot of my favorite characters. But also, I'll tell you my overall theme. My overall theme was I want a really solid group that wants the best for the land and will keep me on track for that. Right? So there's not a lot of motivations going from point A to point B that's telling me, no, do this to better this. They're looking at the overall land and going, this is what's good for the realm. And you'll see that because my Master of Whispers is Varys. Varys is my man. I absolutely love him as a character because at all stops, yes, he does questionable things. He literally starts off by just saying, I want what's good for the realm, right? He even tries to pay off Tyrion's handmaiden, I can't remember her name, Shay, and he's just like, hey, you're really complicating things. I really think Tyrion and Sansa, for as bad as the situation is, if they can have a king, we're going to start seeing more unifications across not only here in Westeros, but also in the north. So he's like playing the game of chess, not for himself, but for the great of the realm. So that's why I was like, I think he's great.
Varys is one of my honorable mentions too, but TV show Varys, not book Varys. Book Varys.
Oh, I'm going
plotted
TV.
A few
Sorry.
murders.
I'm going only TV. So yeah, Varys, he's my Master of Whispers, and he's great. Master of Coin, Ned Stark. Once again, honorable man. I don't think he's cooking that books. I think he's going to be pretty diligent. I'm not quite sure how well he is with, coin and doing all that system of equations. And his relationship with Iron Bake, it might be a little too impersonal for him, but the point is I need someone, the most trustworthy person to control the coin.
That's fair, but as Jenna pointed out, you need someone with money involved in the crown. You know what I mean?
I mean, the Starks are not rich.
Yeah, they're wardens of the North. They are a pretty powerful family.
Yeah.
They do own a lot of land.
Doesn't mean they're wealthy, though. Like, they're not Lannister or Tyrell wealthy.
Oh, and the funny thing is the Lannisters aren't even that wealthy. Remember, he's like, all of our gold mines dried up 3 years ago.
That's true,
You know,
yeah.
so
But I mean, like, Olenna also lost all of their money in one of the seasons. So it depends what era of
Yeah.
Lannisters you're kind of
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
And that is kind of funny because that's one of my favorite questions Tywin asked. Tywin's got some good one-liners.
He
He's
does.
like, guess how much gold has come out of our recent mine? He said some mine location. I can't remember. He's like, well, guess what? How much? And she goes, what do you want? Pounds, ounces? He's like, doesn't matter. It's all the same number. And I was like, oh, I just love that conversion. I think that was kind of cool. So, Master Clay, Ned Stark, Master Ships. So we just said Game of Thrones in general. I did Corlys Valerian. He's the guy in House of the Dragon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't
You know the main guy?
even consider House of the Dragon.
The only
characters.
reason why I considered him, we were kind of shortly talking about this stuff, and I was like, man, who'd be really good with ships? And then I thought of Yara, and I was like, ugh, I don't do Yara. And I thought of Euron, and I was like, no way, I don't think he's going to be a good one. I was like, who else is really good with ships? And then I remembered him, and also they showed his throne area. I just love the octopus and the blue, and I was like, and I think he's a really wise individual, so I think he's going to do good.
I do think it's questionable to pick up a character, though, after only seeing them from season 1. Like, imagine we all watched season 1 Game of Thrones. We would pick very different people.
That's true.
than we
That
would
is
right
very
now.
true.
Hey, I might be
I'm
eating
sure
my
we
words.
all would have had Littlefinger. I'm sure we all would have had Varys.
Yeah.
And we would all be very dead.
Yeah, no, and that's actually a really great point.
Well, half of these characters we wouldn't even know, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just, I've good faith in him. Now, I might be eating my words shortly, because season 2 is coming out hopefully soon, so who knows. So, Commander of the Knights Guard, Tormund. Wildling. I just love Tormund so much. I had to put him in my council. I don't know how I was going to put him in my council, but I needed him on my council. So I was like, Captain of the Guard. I just think, like,
This is
he'd
just a
be
collection
really
of
solid.
Tony's favorite characters.
Yeah, because he was north of the wall, that's why he was not on my council, because they're not part of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, that's fine.
Neither was Oberyn Martell.
Yeah, that's why he wasn't
Oh,
part of
technically Dorne is.
Dorne technically is, but he wasn't on my small council either.
Well, okay, so the reason why I added him, especially to the commander of the Knights Guard, is because, I think he's really good at his job. I also believe that when it comes to the letter of the law, he would respect the spirit of it, but also, make sure we're enacting our stuff. I don't know, I just thought he'd be a cool
I
guy.
feel like he would not be a very good 9 to 5 though. Like he
Oh,
would
no,
not be
garbage.
good at showing up at a small council
He'd be
meeting.
garbage, but at the
You'd
same
have
time,
to,
too,
like
I don't
late
need him.
afternoon meetings,
Yeah.
and he'd still be drunk.
And that's the funniest thing, I don't even need him there. You know what I mean? Because that's why I also put him as the commander of the Knights Guard, like,
Yeah.
come when you can. Just give me the updates every once. Give me a monthly status report. Just tell me crime's down. That's all I need. And then the last one, Master of Laws, is Samwell Tarly. I don't know why. I needed Sam on my council personally, and I know he can kind of be a pushover, but I think with the laws he would have knowledge because he constantly mentions in the book or in the show how many books he's read, and everyone always asks him, how do you know that? How do you know that? He's inquisitive enough to he's like the perfect lawyer. I think he's going to search for that information. He's going to find it. He's going to make sure that we're respecting the laws and, not only with creating them, then enacting them. I think he'd do a pretty good job.
I feel like Tormund would make Samwell pee himself whenever Tormund wanted to do something. Like I feel like he would just be.
He would make a game out of it.
Yeah.
This council is not the most well-oiled machine, but it'd be a machine I would be very proud of.
Tony would at least be alive, as opposed to Mark over here.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to eat or drink at all.
Yeah.
Or attend any weddings.
You're gonna watch. You're gonna watch everyone's necklace as they walk in, just to make sure no one's missing a jewel, and then you'll be.
At least I didn't choose Walter Frey or anyone like that.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You just picked one of the people who orchestrated the red wedding, the purple wedding, and the red wedding too. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think Olenna was a part of the red as well.
Was she?
Maybe it was just Tywin.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
quite
probably
sure.
just-
That's
yeah,
why
I think it was just Tywin. Yeah.
But you looked at me like I knew. I was like, no, I have no idea. That's why I was asking if she was. I didn't know. Definitely Purple Wedding though, for sure. But it was her and Peter Baelish, so yeah, that was wild. Especially when Sansa was like, "Peter, why did you do this?" And he was like, "I'm the best person. There's no motive for me. Like they'll never even look my direction." And I was like, "Oh, I just couldn't risk having him on my council because I wouldn't know how to trust him. He's like way too much of a trustworthy guy face forward that if I did anything I think he would not agree with, it would just be game over."
Yeah.
And also I feel like with this council, I feel like I could not only listen to their advice, but also give out commands and feel like everyone would either be agreeing with it or give me solid discourse so I can learn.
Yeah.
So I can be a wise king. But yeah, so that's all 3 of our councils. Jenna, do you have anything else you kind of want to add on the Game of Thrones before? I think you said you have
I'm
another portion next, right?
Yes, I did bring a little mini game with me where I kind of know Game of Thrones, as we just listened to. I really do not know Star Wars. So I thought it would be fun for me to describe Star Wars characters, kind of a guess who. I have no idea what their purpose is. I have no idea what their role is. And I went out a competition between Mark and Tony to figure out who I'm guessing.
Yeah, so
Got 10 characters lined up.
What are the ground rules here? Can we ask questions? Are you just going to describe them? Do we take turns guessing, or is it first one to guess?
I think it's first one to guess.
Okay.
Well, honorable, right? I think we just raise a hand just so we don't talk over each other.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. For his first character. He looks like an ostrich.
Ostrich?
He looks like an ostrich.
Is that your only clue?
Yeah, I need something else.
Ostrich and a deplucked Grinch.
Oh my gosh. Are you talking about one of the Kaminoans?
I don't know what that is. I need more than that.
I don't even know.
The big black eyes, white skin,
He's got a long neck.
long neck.
Yes.
Is it Kaminoans?
It must be.
Hey,
But
No,
I don't.
it's not Kaminoans.
No,
That's the
no,
race.
That's the race. That's
But
the
I don't.
race.
I can't
You're
tell
probably
ya.
talking about one of the major cloners.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Let me think of her name.
Yeah, either that or the.
The king.
Yeah.
His last name's Poof.
So
Okay,
him.
that
so it's
really
the king,
threw me off.
Right? Is it the king then?
I don't know.
I can show you a picture.
Yeah, show it. Yeah.
Let me see.
No. What?
Let me see.
I think he is a Kaminoan, but
It said he was in 2 movies.
No, I know who this guy is. He is.
what's the name first?
Well, Poof is his last name. I don't know his full name.
Yariel.
He is a minor character. He has no lines, but you see him in like wide shots in Phantom Menace and Clone Wars on the Jedi Council.
Oh my gosh. No.
Right?
Okay, so no. You're right. Sorry. When I said no, I was like, oh my gosh. He plays a huge part in Robot Chicken Star Wars. He's the one member of the council that survives, and he has to be in the Empire, and he wears like a mustache, and he's the chef for all the people. I'm like throwing a really deep cut here.
Yes.
And someone's like, because what they're doing is that he drops a ladle, and it sounds like yaddle, and he's like, yaddle, ladle. It's like, I don't know. It's just, he's making a joke of it. But yeah, he's in Robot Chicken, as he's one of the main guys in Robot Chicken.
Interesting. Okay.
Or one of the jokes that they bring in for the council.
Okay, sorry. That one may have been too much of an off-kilter, but it's hard for me to know because I don't know who any of
that's
these
good.
people are.
That's good.
Now I don't know how to describe this guy because I can't say obscenities.
I didn't realize that you were doing descriptions. That makes it so much harder.
But here,
Okay,
I'm here for it.
yeah.
I'm here for it, though.
Okay, this guy looks like a gorilla with some genitalia underneath the chin.
Oh my gosh, you're talking about
Yeah, he sings at the cantina. Yeah.
Oh, I know. It's is it Boss Grief?
It's Cornelius Evazan something.
Okay, you gotta show
He has a
pictures.
better name, I think. This guy.
Were we right? No, we were not right.
No, we were not right. This is the guy who talking with Luke, and the guy goes, "My friend doesn't like you."
Oh.
So he's in A New Hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in A New Hope.
I don't like you either. And he gets his hand chopped off.
Yeah.
Okay, this next person looks like he'd be an alien from like Men in Black, and he's green, and he has hair, but that it's not hair. Hair that it's like in a tentacle form.
Wati tanti solo. Are you talking about my boy
Greedo?
No. He has black beady eyes.
Sounds like Greedo to me.
Yeah, it sounds like Guido.
He has a lightsaber in this picture.
Oh, is it Kit Fisto?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you're okay. Sorry, dang,
yep.
that was good, Mark.
Yes,
Good. You
thanks.
deserve that. You deserve that. You said green skin, and I just immediately
He's
went.
in the Battle of Geonosis. There we go.
Yeah, and he's also one of the people who attack Lord Sidious or Darth Sidious when they go to confront him.
Correct, with Mace Windu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this next one it looks like the worm from SpongeBob.
The Alaskan bullworm.
Yes. It is in Empire Strikes Back, and
It's not a tauntaun, right?
Oh, are you talking about the Sarlacc pit?
no.
No, Empire Strikes Back. Sarlacc Pit is in Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Empire Strikes Back. That's good. That's a good hint.
Yeah, sorry. I just went. The only thing I could think of a worm was that.
Well, is it Hoth? They're on Hoth.
I think it's something that they fly by based on this
Oh
photo.
my! You're talking
He's-
about when
he's
the
on-
Millennium Falcon gets consumed by it.
Oh, in the asteroid.
Yes, but I
Yeah.
don't remember.
It does look like an asteroid.
Yeah, I don't know what
It
it's
has
called
a
though.
name.
Yes, it does. Are you ready for it?
Yeah,
Exogorth.
yeah, that sounds right. Let me see it.
Yeah, it's 100% that, right?
Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
What are you
These
pulling from? Yeah, okay.
These are
keep
dicey.
going.
I don't know. This person, he looks like he has blonde curly hair, but it looks like it's skin. He has an eye mask on. He does have a lightsaber. He's in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. He looks like he breathes out of his mask, but it could be his skin.
Oh my gosh,
Plo
you're talking about Plo Koon.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah. Literally, when I saw it, I was like, you mean the greatest star pilot in the galaxy?
Yes.
Behind Anakin Skywalker.
Plo Koon. He's good. He's good.
Fun fact, he's Dave Filoni's favorite
Is he?
Jedi. And when the Mandalorian, in that one scene where they're going to bring out somebody, in the script, just so it wouldn't get spoiled, they actually had Plo Koon come out instead of Luke. Do you know in The Mandalorian
Yes,
when there was all
I
the
do-
Death Troopers?
I do remember that, yeah.
It was actually Dave Filoni wrote it in as Plo Koon. So if it got released, everyone would think it would be Plo Koon, but it really
Yeah.
wasn't. It was Luke.
Which, to be honest, I think that would have been even cooler if it
Oh
was
my
Plo
gosh.
Koon. But
I wish it was so much. Yeah, sorry.
His next character is a human woman, the most human-looking woman in the entire Star Wars
Padme?
franchise.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we going Luke?
Or Shmi.
Luke.
Aunt Beru?
Aunt Peru.
Aunt Beru.
Oh, yeah. I was going. I did the Luke pretty
Yeah,
good, but
yeah.
I couldn't remember Aunt Peru.
Okay, this next guy.
Oh, wait. Can I see the picture? Which one did you choose? Did you
Is it
do
old
the...
or young?
Oh, she did old.
Original-
Yeah,
original trilogy.
OG.
Yeah. This next character, he looks like he has 3 faces on. He has black beady eyes and like ears that look quite monkeyish. It looks like he has a hat, although that could just be part of his body. It's from Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi.
Oh, my goodness. Are you talking about...
He's got 3.
He looks sad, like he has perpetual frown lines through these multiple faces.
You're talking about... So Lando's first pilot. That guy.
Oh!
That guy.
I used to know his name.
I know, but he literally goes, oh.
Yeah.
And yeah. Lando's his first pilot. That's my guess. I think
It
that's
has to
what
be.
Jenna's.
It has to be.
I can't remember his name, though.
Yeah, he's Lando's co-pilot.
Yeah.
Oh, my... Dude, I'm unreal.
His name is Nien Nub.
Nub. I knew it was Nub. Nien
Okay.
Nub. Yeah.
I did not know that. I just knew that. Right when you explained it, I was like, the co-pilot?
3 faces going. I was thinking 3 faces like a cross.
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah.
All right, this next guy is a blue elephant.
Oh, my gosh.
Max Rebo.
I was waiting
Tony's
for that.
Tony's boy.
I
literally
have
had to hold
heard-
myself back from screaming because right when it was like Max Rebo, I was like, oh, my goodness.
I have heard the term Max Rebo so many times. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who this character is.
He plays
but
piano.
When I Googled this, this is not the Max Rebo that I thought I'd look up. I thought he was a
No.
human this whole time
Oh, it's
that
a
I've heard Max
Glowman.
Rebo.
So then also, we actually don't know the whereabouts of Max Rebo right now.
He's probably
In the Book of Boba Fett, he was in the casino when they were playing, and it gets blown up. Mm-hmm. So that's why a lot of the memes were. It was Darth Vader when he gets when he actually turns in, with a full suit. It's like, Padme, is she safe? And the meme was Max Rebo, is he safe? Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, this next character I think is a little bit harder to describe. He is a tall head, white, and looks like he's crying
Keanu
tears
Mundi?
of blood. Crying tears of blood.
Oh,
No, but I said Keanu Mundi. Was that all right?
No.
crying tears of blood.
He's in Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
He has a very high, fancy collar that's red. Goes up to past his ears and around his neck.
Oh my gosh!
No, he's on
yeah.
Polis Massa, and he's telling Obi-Wan that he's like, hey, we're prisoners here.
we're prisoners here. General Grievous. He's on the 3rd floor.
Correct. He's the mayor of that, whatever that, the leader of it. Supreme.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I used to know this.
I don't know his
also,
name,
that
but I know the
one
character.
lizard who has the best sound effect ever of all time. Obi-Wan rides on him
Oh,
in
yeah.
his planet.
Oh,
Yeah. I tried to do it. I was like, I'm not gonna do it well, but I'm glad you tried. Yeah, I was like, I wasn't gonna try. Yeah.
You guys ready for his name?
yeah.
Tion Medin.
I don't think I
This is
would
who
have
you're
got
thinking
that.
of, right?
Yes.
Yep, big
yeah.
time.
Okay, this is my last character.
Okay.
This character, it looks like his head is made of Orbeez. / his entire head is shaped like the shape of a hedgehog.
Wait,
Black-
those are how is that mutually exclusive? How does that
How do they work?
mutually inclusive?
It's a bag of Orbeez with 2 ears on the top, with
Wow.
black beady eyes, blue. Seems like he should be aquatic. An aquatic hedgehog.
Oh my gosh, you're talking about Admiral Akbar?
No.
Uh,
He has a really long snoot. Seems like he's very kissable lips.
you're not talking about the Cantina singer.
No.
Isn't that okay?
Oh, okay. I was
What
about to
movie
say.
is this character in? Do we know?
The original first one.
Just the first one.
A New Hope, or are we talking Phantom Menace?
Like the A New Hope.
Okay.
Originally called just the Star Wars.
He wears a turtleneck. He is on Tatooine, I'm pretty sure.
Is it Guido? Guido.
It's Guido.
Look, tell me that man does not look like a blue hedgehog.
Oh,
I guess
the
you're right.
Orbeez thing threw me off. I had him earlier.
He looks more like
Yeah.
you could say like a fish head, and that would have probably.
Yeah.
I said an aquatic hedgehog. How could I not be more descriptive
That's
than
fair.
that?
That's fair.
Wati dati solo. That's one of my favorite lines of all time. Guido, I got the money.
For the record, Han did shoot first.
Yes. Not at the same time.
No,
Not after.
he's a morally great character. It's okay. I'm okay with him shooting first.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Don't
with
try
it.
to hide it.
Yeah.
In the original movie, Han shoots him.
Oh, we talked about this after we went to the New Hope filming.
Oh, you
or
did?
sorry, not filming. They had a local, basically the orchestra played with New Hope playing in the background. And after that, we went out to dinner, and I was like, I can't believe they did the digitally remastered version of it. And Jenna and your brother Paul came and was like, "What are you talking about?" And I did all the differences of
Yes.
the digitally remastered, and that came up. Sorry, but yeah,
Correct.
sorry. But for our listeners, Mark, keep going. I apologize. I got excited.
Well, yeah, so it's in the cantina scene in Star Wars Episode 4, the original Star Wars movie, released in 1977. But it's in the cantina. Guido comes to talk to Han to collect for Jabba the Hutt, and Han shoots him. Guido also shoots as well, but it's after.
In the first one,
He doesn't shoot at all. It's just Han.
he shoots.
So when years later, when they digitally remastered it, they wanted to make Han look better, so made it look like Greedo shot first or at the same time.
Yeah, so basically what they did, they actually jittered the camera, so it looks like Han moves right, and it misses the bolt, and when Greedo shoots, then Han responds with a shot, and then people complain about it so much that then they put it at the same time, so now Han and Greedo shoot at the same time. So he does a dodge shoot at the same time, so yeah. That's how it ended up.
Yes.
But there's 3 different iterations.
And Jabba used to be
Human.
an Irishman, yeah.
And then they digitally remastered it, and Darth Sidious was a woman with a lot of makeup on.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. I also saw one today. It showed all the remastered version of that scene where he's talking to Jabba, and the first one had the human, the second one had a kind of choppy looking Jabba the Hutt,
Oh, and then
and
there's
a real
the
Jabba the Hutt
hologram.
Well, yeah. Now there's a fourth one that was just released last year of the hologram. Like, why do they do that? I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good
They
point.
keep changing it. Don't change it. And it was made in 1977. We get it. Just
Yeah, let her be. But yeah, no, Jen, do you have any other characters?
That was
or-
all my characters.
No, that was a lot of fun.
that was
I
good.
Think,
I did enjoy
I think it was
that.
funny how, yeah, I like the description on it.
We knew most of them. We just didn't know their names. Yeah, we
Yeah,
remember
oh,
them
yeah.
from
No,
the.
you knew the names for 7 out of them. 7 out of 10, I think.
Oh, okay. That's better than I thought.
We can go back to the tapes. I don't know if it was 7, but yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it was
Call it
good.
7.
Yeah,
Clearly,
yeah.
no recording of this. You can never prove it otherwise.
Yeah, right.
No, never. Well, Jenna, we totally appreciate you coming on. You're
absolutely.
guest number 1. You're also the reason why we're even having this. So we thought, hey, you'd be the perfect first guest. How does it feel?
Thanks, guys. I was just excited to say live, laugh, lore at the beginning. That's really what I came for.
It's the greatest.
It is. It's a good feeling. It really is.
Yeah, we just want to live. We want to laugh. We want to lore.
Yeah.
What's so hard about it?
Yeah, guys. So thanks for listening. This was another good episode. As always, please reach out to us with questions, mix-up ideas, and what-if ideas, or just general lore topics like Jenna had today. Just random book movie differences. We'd love to hear that and discuss that.
And yeah, so absolutely. With that being said, if you're kind of curious, saying, "Oh, how do we reach out to you?" The best way would be Instagram or Twitter, X, at Live Laugh Lore Pod. That's Live Laugh Lore Pod, POD. Just like Podrick Payne. Oh my gosh, full circle.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? Or also email us at livelaughLorePod@gmail.com. That's livelaughLorePod@gmail.com.
Yep. Thanks, guys.